All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hazmat Guys Nation Roundtable. But this is a multimedia platform bringing hazmat response information and training tips from hazmat members all across the globe. I'm Bobby Salas, and I'll be acting as the host for tonight. We have just a quick roundup. We have Phil the Ambrose. We have Jason Rogers from Delaware, and we have Bob Kosh from Florida, although he's temporarily relocated. Where to Miami Beach? Where are you now?
I am in Great Miami-Dade County.
Miami-Dade, the lovely downtown Zika, capital of the world.
I'm not too far from it.
Wow, amazing stuff. And Mike will be on. However, he's in the middle of a Windows update.
He got coshed.
Bobby, I'm buying you a map. You always say I'm from Delaware. I'm actually from Indiana, but it's okay.
Oh crap! It's Delaware County.
It's Delaware County. Yeah.
That's not the same thing.
Oh, he just put marks in my book now. That's good.
We don't have boroughs out here.
No, you do, but they're moles and shit.
That's right.
There's actual animals in those things. Well, we're not going to split hairs there. All right. Anywho, we have quite the lineup tonight, right? We have two really good. I think we have two substantial articles to go over tonight. Shall I read one out and then we'll start kicking it around? Do we got anything we can grab it first? Huh?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, buddy. If you want to read it, go for it.
We're going to go with story number one. This is a natural gas leak tips off police to an Irwin woman's accused of cooking up a drug. This is in Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania, 22 miles southeast of Pittsburgh. And I'll give you the short version. Brenda Lee Everett, 51 years old, was caused with catastrophe and recklessly endangering others. She was using muriatic acid, a highly corrosive mineral acid used to clean masonry, with an active material in nasal spray to extract that chemical and then mix the purified crystalline substance into a drink. So when the muriatic acid combined with the pseudoephedrine found in cold medicines, they were going for the methamphetamine kind of thing. So in its purest form, in its higher concentration, she would get high off it, said police chief. I'm going to cut a couple of bits out of here. Cooking a solution with hydrochloric acid and over-the-counter medication is not uncommon for people seeing a drug high, said Scott Blacker, vice president for development of Levengren Foundation. It seems that she had quite a bit of this stuff, and when the woman was arrested after an investigation had begun on Monday into the cause of the natural gas leak at her townhouse, a 6-unit building where she lives, a resident in the adjacent unit smelled natural gas, and the Columbia Gas Company employee determined that it was coming from the suspect's home. The worker then found a crack in the flexible connector that supplies the natural gas to the water heater, so he shut the gas supply off. On Tuesday, 2 repairmen noticed a strong smell of an unknown chemical that made one worker dizzy as he repaired the line. The rental I love this line. The rental company realized something was not kosher, and they contacted us. So there's no connection between the muriatic acid and the corrosion of the natural gas pipes. However, they don't know how long Everett allegedly cooked the acid and nasal spray ingredients in her home, but a neighbor said last month she smelled of natural gas. And that's basically the whole article, but I wouldn't confuse the two. Would you? I mean, I would think there's two completely different smells.
I'll be honest with you, I've never even heard of this method before.
This seems overly simplistic. Like, this is a knucklehead that was trying to be fancy, like she watched Breaking Bad 3 times, and she's going to be Walter White now.
It reminds me of the guy a month ago or so that was cooking his own urine. No, I mean, the same kind of, I think it was desperate druggy that they were kind of sort of there, but it didn't. I agree with Kosh. I'd never heard of such a thing.
Well, and the urine thing, you're right, because what the meth heads do is they will go to some place, they'll pee in a jar or whatever, as gross as it sounds, in exchange for freshly cooked meth. And what the cook does is he goes through a process and takes what meth is excreted out through the urine and then cooks it through the process and is able to get some more out of it. It's really whacked.
So they
He
almost
renders
have,
it. No, as I say, he renders it down to use the pseudoephedrine again, doesn't he, Bob?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a recycling program?
Exactly.
Yes.
They're
They're
green
green.
drug addicts.
That's good.
You know, one thing, I mean, a lot of places, and we've had some push for it here in the Midwest because, you know, meth is such a big problem here, but they're making ephedrine a prescription drug. So I don't wonder if this new method is in response to, hey, I can't get pseudoephedrine, so we're going to try these other, you know, nasal sprays and things to try to get the same kind of high. I did a little background on this Benzodrex that they were talking about, and these aren't like nasal spray inhalers. These are like the ones where, and I remember from a kid, you know, you'd have a stuffy nose and they just shove this thing up your nose. You're just supposed to breathe up this thing. So I don't wonder if there's like some sort of cotton-filled something that they were trying to boil down to get, I don't know, the decongestant off or something. I don't know.
I don't get. I mean, like these two guys went outside to fix the gas pipe. I'm going to say in a unrelated. It seems like it's an unrelated event that the gas leak, the natural gas leak, what I'm assuming was unrelated, but that's how they kind of sniffed this thing out. Why these guys got lightheaded, and you know what I mean, because sometimes you get you know, the lady that gets dizzy, and then 14 blocks away, there's sympathetic injuries, you know, that are associated with
like sick building syndrome.
Yeah, exactly, and you know that kind of thing. I don't know if these guys said, you know what, this is my chance for the 3/4, the golden parachute, or whatever it might be.
You know, we did that. I saw the article. I didn't go in depth on it because. I agree that the psychosomatic side of it, and I think I showed them to you guys when we were out there in December. There's a guy that makes these scent cards that, you know, it smells like bitter almonds and all those things. It's scent cards, so you know what the you know the hazmat scents smell like. And of course, some people say, hey, why would I want to know what it smells? I'm not going to smell it, but yeah, you might. But what blew me away about these scent cards, we used them in a couple training classes, is after students would go through an evolution, we'd have them smell it. Everybody had a different description of it. So to me, what it taught me is when somebody says I smell skunk or I smell natural gas, you got to kind of turn off what you might think, and it could be something completely different. Just because they say it doesn't mean it is. It's what they think it is. And we had a great time, and we'd hold up a card that's supposed to smell like bitter almonds, and you get everything from you know, grandma's house to you know, old boot to you know, my dog or something, and that's what you got to think about on scene. No, just remember that it's something unusual, but try not to go down the path too quickly of, oh, it must be that. Rule it out. Turn off the gas. You know, get out your meter. Rule it out, but don't you know, don't get sucked in down that path without checking all your other boxes.
You know what? Even like muriatic acid, like it smells like chlorine. It's hydrochloric acid in some derivatives. So if she's cooking it off, you're going to liberate chlorine gas, and you're going to be left with basically water, right? So I mean, like, well, it's probably worse when it's cool than when it's hot, right? I mean, it's not a flammable. So when you know, this knucklehead's putting the pseudoephedrine in there, what changes? Like, what goes down?
And I'm still trying to figure out how she's doing it. I mean, with the acid part, you know, obviously your body can't ingest that. They have to turn when they're doing that kind of stuff. That's why they have the whole sodium hydroxide to change everything to a base. So I would be fascinated to hear exactly if anybody, Todd Burton or anybody's, you know, because he knows a lot about all that stuff, I'm sure, or whomever, what the actual procedure is. We don't want to put it on the show, but if you want to text us and let us know, because it'd be interesting to see just how this, you know, how this process works.
Mike, if you are going into something like this, because this is like one of those things where we commonly get asked the questions where, let's say, put yourself in the seat, you're riding in a rig, and you're going into this thing, what's your PPE?
I guess if I really don't know, I'm gonna go bunker gear.
Bunker gear, right? Bunker gear,
Uh,
SCA.
Because you know what? In the end, it doesn't really matter to me what anybody's telling me it is. I'm gonna go off what my meters say as I'm doing a recon to develop my PPE strategy.
Right.
So whether it's this acid, that acid, they're boiling off this, they're cooking this, it doesn't matter to me. If I have flammability, I'll keep my bunker gear on. If I've got chemicals in the air, I'll switch PPEs at that point.
All right. That's exactly what I'm thinking too. And let's say that there's exposure. She's in a six apartment complex, mostly like like an MD, multiple dwelling kind of thing. So if there's other people exposed, Jay, how are we going to? Are you going to kind of shelter in place? What's your thoughts on that? Are you shelter in place? Are you going to move people out to the front lawn? Are you going to set up a triage MCI? What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, we're going to have a what we would call a casualty collection point, and bring evacuate, because you don't know what you're dealing with. Is it natural gas? Is there a leak? They're trying to shut the gas off, so then you get the chemical smell. What's going on? I mean, we would certainly be thinking maybe meth lab in this region, and try to get everybody out, and then do maybe a set of vitals, check their O2 sat, and see if anybody's symptomatic with anything at all, and then treat them individually as they come out. I don't remember. I think it said in the article that everybody was out for the night, but they all found other accommodations. Said don't believe anybody was injured. So that's what we would do if we're getting that same scenario with multiple dwelling. We're going to throw out a casualty collection point, and wouldn't necessarily call an MCI, but bring in some resources to say, okay, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Right.
The downside is you might have people that didn't even know what was going on that all of a sudden are in your casualty collection area, and now they're symptomatic. So, but the upside is if it turns into something, you already have them out, and it's a lot easier to have them out and start herding those sheep than to have to go back. Hey, remember when I said you could stay in your unit? Well, now we need to have you leave. So it's darned if you do, darned if you don't. But if you start out correctly and just do it, if you think it might be necessary, just do it. But then also start calling the Red Cross. Start thinking, think beyond 10 minutes. Think an hour and 2 hours away. What's going on? Where you're gonna put all these people, and that's where you really have to start, as they'd say here in the Southwest, sectoring it out, or start doing your groups and divisions and get somebody responsible for that side, so your hazmat team can hopefully render it all safe and everybody goes right back home to their beds.
We have when I was doing my little stint as a volunteer fire chief, we had a garden apartment, so an elderly garden apartment that had to be evacuated. It was hot. It was, not Phoenix hot, but it was, it was good amount of hot enough for old people to get a little swoony. And one of the things I did was I called for the public buses. They're basically running motel rooms with air conditioning and anything. I can move them all in mass to a hospital. You can park them anywhere. You can move them anywhere. So consider that. Even in the cold, the rain, or anything like that, if the Red Cross ain't getting there, you sure can call OEM or whatever your Office of Emergency Management might be called in your area and say, I need 3 buses here now. And somebody will volunteer to do it on overtime, I promise you that. So, all right, well, is anything else on that topic? Crickets.
Nope.
All right.
That's a good one.
All right. Then we are going to be going to carbon monoxide blamed for a death of a woman and a dog in Berrien Springs, Michigan. I hope I'm saying that right. So here's the story. A cyanide poison investigation was initiated in Berrien Springs. One person was found dead in a home in a residential area. One elderly woman is dead, along with her dog, investigators said. Police, fire, and hazmat crews have descended on the home. They came in force, like it sounds like. It was when the first responders saw the dead dog, they knew something unusual was wrong. They didn't do it to check for carbon monoxide, and very high levels were found. Initially, however, the firefighters also were getting readings on their meters showing cyanide. Late Sunday morning, WSBT 22, that the cyanide was being pulled out. Crews on the scene now think that extraordinarily high levels of carbon monoxide are to blame for the woman's death of her dog. Investigators do not know where the carbon monoxide leak came from yet. Late Sunday, they were still trying to get the levels down in the house. They need to go in and investigate further. They fans, and they'll update us as it comes out.
I have the update.
Oh,
I do. Yeah, so today it came out. Monday, this was their determination on Monday that came out today that media was reporting to investigators that investigators believe she accidentally had left her car running in the garage to cause the CO levels. So they apparently weren't ready to release that yet, but she had pulled her car in and closed the garage door and hadn't shut it off. Must have went into the house and forgot.
Wow.
Oh, what are we thinking then with the hydrogen cyanide?
And you know that's funny. This is like the third incident in probably the last 3 or 4 days where there's been a cross sensitivity between carbon monoxide and the hydrogen cyanide sensor.
I
think there
agree.
was something with that in Phoenix as well.
It was interesting because the media report talked about, they made some assumptions that there's plastics in the car. The car must have got really hot in the garage, and when the plastics melted, it off-gassed this cyanide. So there were some really good comments on THMGnation on the Facebook page, I think, and Twitter. The guys were talking about offsets and saying, hey, you know, this can happen. So you know, probably know your meters, right?
Absolutely.
Know your meters, have a duplicate plan, and yeah. Say again, Bobby?
Back up your meters. You know, if one is on carbon cyanide, have a second one come in and confirm it.
Exactly.
And that's a good point, because a lot of departments, they don't have or haven't thought about having one multi-gas with, say, H2S and one multi-gas with HCN. But both of them having CO. That'd be a good way to check that out.
Is that, are we definitely sure, and I'm only asking because I'm on the one manufacturer's site right now looking at cross sensitivities for CO. I'm not seeing the hydrogen cyanide as a cross sensitivity on any of their data. So is this something that was that meter specific, or is CO known to have a cross sensitivity with HCN that they're not listing?
Could be that the manufacturer. I don't even know what meter they had. I mean,
It never said.
You know, maybe, listen, you know what? If anybody is, where the hell are they from?
Michigan.
They're from Barron Springs, Michigan. If anybody knows anybody over there, or anybody knows anything, give us a call, or actually just give us a call. 843-628-1484, or send us an email at THMGnation@gmail.com. We want to hear about this one. I'd really like to talk to somebody, maybe get them on next week, because I'm curious. You know?
One of the things that was sent to me, and unfortunately it doesn't talk about what meter, but it says with the CO concentration as high as 300 parts per million, the response for the HCN sensor could be 15 parts per million. So, but I need to. It doesn't say what type of meter or where it's from, so I'm gonna have to do some research on that. But
yeah, but you know what? When you tell me that it's 300 to 15, what if you had a real HCN meter next to it? What would it be reading? Is it 0? And then I can say, okay, then the 15 is sympathetic, or is it really like 60 and it's only reading 15?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I mean, different manufacturers. I don't know if they have different tolerance.
So you're saying since the HCN is cross sensitive, or the HCN is cross sensitive with the CO, is the CO then therefore cross sensitive with the HCN? That's what you're saying.
We have no secondaries on either one to really back up that finding either way.
Right.
You know, so maybe the CO is coming down and the HCN is going up, but I have no way to verify the CO or the HCN. So I would say everything's suspect right away. You know, until you and small departments who do not have that capability of backing up their meters, what do? You call mutual aid, right? I mean, you're going to call another fire department.
Right.
That's how I would do it if I was.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So here we go. I'm on another manufacturer's website, and their CO has an HCN at -5% cross sensitivity.
-5 cents. Oh, so that
Minus.
means the CO would go down if it was actually in presence of HCN?
I'm guessing it's
the other way
gonna.
around.
Yeah, it'll read HCN at a -5% off. You know, it's off by minus. If you have HCN in the house and it says 95, then maybe it's really 100. That's kind of what I'm reading it as. But that was interesting because the first one, can we say manufacturers' names? Is that okay?
Do whatever
Who
you want.
cares?
I'll show.
All right.
Yeah, why
So,
not?
all right. So on the Ray systems, it showed a whole list of cross sensitivities with nothing on HCN, and then now I'm on MSA, and MSA is showing a 5% deflection in the presence of HCN. So I guess it's a possibility.
Yeah.
There's I think, let's say that they obviously must have had an HCN meter, I guess, because they're talking about readings. Let's say they didn't. There's a lot of departments that don't. They've got a 4-gas. It does not have HCN. So if we go in and we look for something that we don't even have the capability to look for, we might see a bump in the oxygen, right? We might get a cross sensitivity on something else depending on what it is. But you could go through and do a search and maybe find nothing, right? If you nothing, or because you weren't looking for it. So if they had an HCN meter, then I would drop back to the basics, which means you go in, hey, if you got a reading, you make sure you have the proper PPE on, then you bump back, you tag it, and you try to kind of recreate it, and you keep going through. And you assume that was done. And how often do you get hits? I mean, all of us are on teams that are in fairly big regions. We all kind of get excited when we actually get anything on the meter, right? Because it doesn't happen every day. Usually you're doing a search, and it's nothing other than maybe it's something we can't detect. So in that case, like we've already said, that might be a time where you call in, hey, we got enough. Let's get somebody else with some more meters and recreate this to kind of rule out. Because the one thing I don't like is all the manufacturers have a little bit different when it comes to the cross sensitivities, and then you'll see something on the internet, and next thing you know, everybody's going around saying, hydrogen cyanide will pop up during CO. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but just I'm good with that as long as you did a proper search of the area, meaning you scanned it, you took enough time. That would be my point.
You bring up a point that just popped up in my head is, you don't see the forest from the trees. And why, now take a step back from this run, and let's read the run again. Why would there be hydrogen cyanide in a simple CO run? So if you're going in and you're getting hydrogen cyanide, you got to stop back and say, why the hell am I getting hydrogen cyanide? Right?
Right. What do they say in medicine? If it sounds like a horse, if it looks like a horse, if it runs like a horse, don't think zebra.
Right. Right. You got to step back and say, why would there be hydrogen cyanide? I almost have to, and as a techie, I almost have to say, I'm discounting this. I'm gonna keep it on mind, but I'm going to put this to the side as something that's a false positive. I'm not going to pay attention to it. Would anybody disagree with that? I mean, because this is a straight up CO run.
And if you needed to verify something, Todd Burton just brought up a good point. Break out some Draeger tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Draeger tubes are always a great last resort. Like, hey, is this definitely in the air? Yes or no?
I mean, we've cleared every other possibility. Here's the last thing.
Well, and to your point, Bobby, and I get it that I think what you're saying was, hey, it doesn't fit. That was back. I used to handle a dog and a body dog. That was what we would put people through. That was the hardest thing. Is you'd get a search area, whether it be outside or in a building. We would put nothing there. So the handler would go in and they'd have to come out and say there's nothing there, and they're used to saying there's something there. And that's a tough thing about hazmat is going in and verifying, yeah, there's nothing there. Now you've got a double fatality or an animal and a person dead. I could see where it would be easy for now all of a sudden the IC or somebody on the radio, hydrogen cyanide, and they start running down that path. So I guess my point being, if you're the guy on the meter, but don't be afraid to ask for, hey, this is our only meter in this county. Get the next county over. Let's do another. Get the tubes, all that. And just do a little bit more, because I think that if that was your only meter, it'd be a little tougher to just say, yep, hydrogen cyanide, that's it, case closed.
Yeah.
You know what? We have CO in quarters, don't we, Bob? For calibration gas.
Oh yeah.
We should fill a bag and shove a hydrogen cyanide meter in there and see what happens.
I'll just have the guys just talk.
Right. We'll have them use the hazmat guy's exit bag.
Yeah. Oh, the whole post in it. It's gonna be a hot cellar. I have a feeling. Very, very hot cellar. Oh, one time you can't reuse it.
No refunds.
No refunds.
Some meth head will recycle it.
Yeah.
Good for him.
If you buy them right now, do you get 2?
You get 2 for 1.
Yes, 2 for the price of 1.
It's a very popular cellar. Yeah, we're gonna get a challenge coin with it too.
That's going to be our Valentine's Day special. They'll be connected together.
Valentine's. Oh, that's a good one.
That's awesome.
So anyway, well, that wraps up another episode of the Hazmat Guys Nation Roundtable. Please take a second to go to our Facebook page and like us. It's Hazmat Nation, the Hazmat Guys. So just go around and let's talk about each guy. Bob Kosh, we'll start with you because you're on my left side.
Oh, I'm on your left side. I like it. Yeah, Bob Koshignano. You can find me at hcmtlt@gmail.com or on Twitter. We're going to be in Virginia Beach next month for the Virginia Beach Hazmat Conference. Jason's going to be there with me. We're going to do some real cool stuff. Talk a little bit about the gray area where rescue meets hazmat. And then, as everybody, all the rest of the clowns here, we're all going to be in Nashville in October.
Yeah. Gonna be good times. Good times.
It'd be awesome.
Bringing my guitar.
Oh, the place is great except for the music. So anyway, Jason from Delaware County, Delaware State, Delaware.
All Delaware but the state.
Well, yeah, right. Okay.
I'm getting him a Delaware flag now.
I put it up behind me, right? I'm Jason from Indiana, right? I am. You can find me on Hazmat Nation, Jason at hazmatnation.com. One of the cool things that we're doing now, it's about to come out. We're doing a Tech Talk series where your tips and tricks get posted on Hazmat Nation. So we kind of do a little, hey, this is what you're doing. We're going to share tips and tricks from all over the nation. Maybe training, maybe way you set up your exit bags, maybe whatever. So be watching for that. That's going to be a new section on Hazmat Nation, and we're doing a thing called Haz Matters, which is all about everybody in the nation. And if you would like to send us a bio of your team, of your response area, something cool just to kind of get other people involved, you can send that to info@hazmatnation.com, your pictures, your comments, and we'll throw it up there, and you'll be world famous in the Hazmat Nation.
Excellent. Michael, go with the urgent.
I'm Michael Monaco with the Hazmat Guys, and you can get me at mike@thehazmatguys.com. I've got nothing new that I'm working on other than maybe trying to get something underneath my pretty face that says the Hazmat Guys Nation and my name. I'm very jealous that you guys have that. But no, on our end, we're always looking for people to come on and take their stories that they've had and put them on air. Teach us what you've learned. And one of the things I find the most right now is people sit and they go, "Oh man, I'm in this small little department. I don't have anything to offer." And I really have to beg you to reach out to us and try, because you would be amazed at the stuff that you have done that you don't even realize could be helpful for somebody who's never done that before. It doesn't have to be an earth-shattering run that ends up on Hazmat Nation. It could just be something that maybe is a little off, the way that you did something that's outside the box. So this was kind of the whole point of this. It's another extension in getting information out there. So drop me an email, Mike at the Hazmat Guys.
All right, Phil.
Oh, Bob mentioned Virginia Beach. couple of conferences we've been pushing on Hazmat Nation because they're all friends of ours. Massachusetts Hazmat Conference, if you're up that way. Virginia Beach, of course, the oldest, 32nd year, I think. Pennsylvania Hazmat Conference. Those guys are great. They've been great to us. And, yeah, I echo with what Jason said. Man, we're actually a little bit behind. We've got a couple in the queue now as far as for great learning articles that we hope to catch up on, but keep them coming. But thanks to guys like Bob Lundgren that had a really good call, sent us a lot of information on it. And then shout out to Trent in Colorado. I saw he just did his first Ironman, and that's legit. That's pretty cool. So one of the hazmat community showing that you don't just sit around and eat donuts. This guy did a full Ironman. Pretty awesome. That's what I got.
I usually come up with one of those.
What was his name?
Trent. I don't want to butcher his last name. Arguello?
Oh.
Yeah. He's with there in the Denver metro area.
Awesome. All right, well then I am Bobby from the Hazmat Guys podcast. We might do a podcast breaking down the complex topics of chemistry and hazardous materials down to what we like to say the fifth grader can understand. So by all means, go over to thehazmatguys.com or find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Music, and all the like. We just actually are putting out Grounding and Bonding number 2 this Friday, and that should be a riveting, a lightning bolt of a... No, that was bad. Right. But anyway.
It's very current.
It is... I saw what you did there.
I'm resistant to actually listen to it.
Oh, we can go down.
Wow.
Anywho,
Shocking.
it was Mike's birthday last Sunday. I want to throw that out there, just so everybody knows.
Wow. Can you legally drink now?
Yes. Yes.
He has no trouble having kids, but he can't even drink yet.
I'm a savant with birthdays. I remember every birthday. But anyhow, the Olympics going on. I'm really into that. But I have to mention 2 friends. The PAHhazmat.org. That's the Pennsylvania show. I promised those guys I would put it out, and those guys are putting out a great show. It is August 25th through the 28th of 2016. They put out an awesome show. It is very well priced. Unfortunately, I will be sunning myself in Turks and Caicos and be unavailable for that show, but I would be there absolutely. And then also the one that me and Mike are going to is the Massachusetts one. If you can get to that one, that's in Plymouth Pebble. It's really
Stone.
I don't know. It's like a stone. People. I've heard people try to pick up and skim, and it's frowned on.
Yes. Hydroplaning at Pebble Rock is not. The Plymouth Rock is not. Yeah, I don't like that.
People like, tisk. So anyway, that's about it for this show. Please be sure to catch next week's show live every Tuesday at 21:15 hours Eastern Standard Time on Google Hangouts. We're also putting the link up on both the hazmatnation.com and the hazmatguys.com. If you look at it, you're going to find the button. You push the button, and you will +1 us, which means you will be notified of all of our shows for this roundtable. And if you do a little investigation, you could probably get the +1s for the other shows as well. So we also publish this in both a podcast, which you can find under the Hazmat Guys Nation under iTunes, or you can look at it under YouTube, under the THMG Nation at YouTube. So that's it, guys.
Oh, hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
It just came in on Twitter. There's a couple people that had asked if there's still space in the hot class for Nashville, and yes, there is. I think the prices are going up soon, but Nashville, absolutely. Tuesday, our hands-on training class, so there's still spots available. Let us know if you have any trouble.
Excellent.
I'm pretty sure they just missed the early bird special, but get in now before it fills up for sure.
Yeah, fill it up quick, so get in.
Yeah.
All right. You heard it here, folks. Good night.
See ya.